Good morning, guys and gals. This is your host, Joe, Life with Yosef. This should be Summer 24 Extravaganza number 18. I am checking out of the premier RV resorts in Eugene. I think it's more in Coburg, but anyway, I'm hooked up. You see the boys on his tether. He got out, he peed, he sniffed. We played a little bit. Less and less of a struggle hooking up every day. I'm going to pan the campground here. I'm driving to rural Woodland, Washington today to spend some time with my Uncle Mike, my cousin Judy's dad, my mom's brother. I haven't seen him in a very long time. We spoke recently. Let me sit down here. When I saw my cousin in the Bay Area and we had lunch with my mom, Judy texted me the next day and said, hey, my dad wants to talk, would like to talk to you. And sure, I'll talk to my uncle. So we had a really pleasant, about a 40-minute conversation. And I just said, hey, Uncle, I'd love to come up and spend time with you. And he's all for it. So I was going to go up Monday, and I held a day over, and I was going to go up Tuesday. I think it's Wednesday today. Anyway, I'm going up today. I'm going to leave his place Monday. Now, I didn't have plans set, but I have plans set now, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But we got to go run down to Camping World. I got to buy a couple things, and then we're going to be on our way. It shouldn't be a long day, 2.5, 3 hours maybe. So we'll take it, as we always say, we'll see what's next. As I'm pulling back out to get onto Interstate 5 after stopping at Camping World and then stopping for gas, both in the locomotive and in KP2, I want to talk about Coburg, and I'm going to put in a little bit of hand footage here from a few days ago, and we'll talk about it. Our next stop of the day finds us in the historic district of downtown Coburg, Oregon. Coburg was founded in 1847. It was incorporated in 1893. I thought there'd be a marker or something down here, and there may be an information thing. We'll find it. Here's the old shed. Now you see this type of used to be gas station. So this we're on Willamette and East Mill. So we will certainly go back around, maybe take another picture or two, and we'll see what's next. Here's a pretty sharp restored building, the Depot House from about 1870. There's some law offices here now. I wanted to stop at these informational dealies here in the park, but there's no parking right here on Willamette. And then when I turned here, I saw the orange cones, and I let it get into my head that maybe I shouldn't park here at all. I didn't want a ticket. I didn't want to get hassled. The Coburg cops don't necessarily have the best reputation, which I'll explain in a second. Now, the building I'm going to arrow here on the right with the little fence and everything, this used to be the Coburg PD office. And they decided, hey, we need to generate some revenue. This is 20 plus years ago when they were known as one of the biggest speed traps in all of Oregon. So they bought themselves a couple of really nice BMW motorcycles, and they would enforce speed on Interstate 5, which is right up the street here, even though the Coburg city limits did not extend on the Interstate 5. So after that stink was addressed, Coburg annexed the land out to Interstate 5, including a couple of hundred yards, or maybe 2 or 3/10 of a mile of Interstate 5, which now, okay, well, gee, you're in the city limits, and now we're going to enforce speed. Well, all it was a revenue generator. And this is not necessarily unusual. My brother talks about a neighboring department when he was in the Kansas City Metroplex where they had like 100 yards of Interstate 35, and that's all they were doing out there was writing speeding tickets and generating revenue. Now, Charlie's department, his chief, they had a little bit of Interstate 35, and he said, don't you dare get out there and write speeding tickets. He said, you need to be in our city limits so people can see you and you can respond to calls for service. So, and then my bro Nathan said the other day that Coburg is basically run by like a HOA with a bunch of old catty ass women that have got nothing better to do than bitch. I don't doubt that. Anyway, this is from today. A part of the road footage. So we're going to see what's next. Now, skipping ahead, we're in Salem-Keyser at exit 260 off of Interstate 5, but we're going to pass the 45th parallel right here, which the sign just said. I'll arrow it. It's the 45th parallel is halfway between the equator and the geographic North Pole, which is at 90 degrees north. So that's a little bit of tidbit. But there's more to Salem-Keyser here that I'm going to talk about now. Just outside, just north of Salem-Keyser is Brooks. There's the off-ramp right here. You see the pilot on the left. There is a heritage park, and I'm going to pip it in right here. Hold on. The Great Oregon Steam Up is at Powerland Heritage Park, and there's a bunch of museums and stuff there too. Well, Nathan and I talked about this, and he usually goes every other year or every third year. He's not going to make it this year, but he highly recommended that I see this. And I subscribed to their YouTube channel, and it totally slipped my mind, like the Sammy Davis Jr. accident site that Vin reminded me about when I was in San Bernardino, and then I went down and filmed it and linked to Steve from Sidetrack Adventures. So Nathan really said you need to do this, and I'll link to one of their pages in the description. But I made reservations in Salem for a week. Nathan said there's a lot to see in Salem, and I think there's gonna be. So I got my ticket for a week from Saturday, and I'm going to do this, and I'm expecting to have a pretty good time. So 1010, shout out to my bro Nathan for reminding me about this. And now we're going to see what's next. Well, this is certainly one of the noisier spots on the excursion today. I went ahead and pulled off here at a rest stop on Interstate 5 south of Portland in Oregon. And I just wanted to pit here. This is a really nice rest stop. And the pet area are these trees now right here across the asphalt internal road here. You see the sign maybe. It says pet exercise area and dogs on a leash only. And I walked dude out there, and you know, he has to pick the particular tree. Mangy dog. I love my dog. He's a good boy. So here's our 360. We're going to get to my uncle's about 2:30, and we'll see what's next. Traffic in Portland, right in Portland, is no joke. But we got to the Oregon-Washington Bridge. I thought this had a different name, and it's a drawbridge still. So I sped the film up here a little bit. I was hoping to get a little bit more information on it, but I don't have it handy. Hold on. It's also called the Interstate Bridge. It was built, I've seen 1915, 1916, 1917. It's on the National Register of Historic Places. And allegedly there's a federal money to repair or replace both of the spans. Now we're outside of Woodland. We're driving to my uncle's, and I'll talk about this disaster next. I made the correct turn here on the Bachman, but I should have stayed to the right, and I misread my GPS, and I went to the left, and I get all the way to the end here, and I can't turn around. So it took me 40 minutes to back out, and I didn't even back out the same way that I drove in, and I had blocked up traffic. There was a motor unit there that had stopped traffic for me till I finally got out and took care of it. Actually, I got to give the Washington State drivers, nobody honked at me. Everybody saw I was struggling, and nobody honked. I got a couple of waves and no middle fingers, so 40 minutes to deal with this. I'm an idiot. I backed out the wrong way, so I had to drive down 4.5 miles to get turned around to where I came in the right driveway in the first place like I did, but I went up to the right road just like the GPS said. It was a PEBCAC error. So you're going to see now the view I have out of the front window of the locomotive. I'm at my uncle's. He made the comment that he thought I was going to text him, and I probably should have. Now, I've learned this lesson. You would think I learned it more than once, but I'm an idiot. So, this is your host, Joe, Life with Yosef, Summer 24 Extravaganza number 18. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all your support in my times of trouble. Enjoy your day. Peace be with you. And we'll see you for the next one.